Valor.
Let's get more on this live now from Dr. Kevin Grisham. He is Assistant Director of the Center for Islamic and Middle Eastern Studies at California State University. Dr. Grisham, first of all, is there a logic in what IS is doing terrible things to allies of the US to try to draw the US into a wider conflict?
I believe there is. I believe the logic is very clear, and that is that it's a two-step process. One is to draw the Western allies of Egypt and Jordan and others into this fight, but also it's to try to draw more fighters to their cause.
And when you see IS described as a death cult, that they see themselves as agents of the apocalypse, what do you make of that analysis?
I think it's at least somewhat spot on. The only problem with that is that there's an assumption that that's an irrational sort of behavior, but for them it's very rational. They see themselves as basically trying to gain the leadership of the Islamic community and how they believe the Islamic community should be.
And is what they're doing, the way they see themselves, rooted in an interpretation of Islam? Are they more than just psychopaths as you see it?
I don't believe so. I think that any reading of Islam, even some of the more conservative interpretation of Islamic law or Sharia, would suggest what they're doing is so against what Islam stands for that I don't believe that they can stand as any sort of representative for the Islamic community, much less see themselves as Muslims.
Is it surprising in any way that they've had some success, at least in Libya?
Somewhat. If we look at where they've been successful, it's often been in these vacuums that have been opened and where you have a marginalized population and they go in and they offer basically some sort of options to the life that those people are currently living. And I think this is what we're seeing in Darna and Libya, but we also see it in many other parts of Syria and Iraq today.
I mean, as you know better than me, many other conflicts in this region have been horror shows, but they have been eventually resolved more or less by local actors, despite foreign interference. Is that the most likely outcome eventually here?
I believe so. I mean, it's sad to say that because more people will probably end up being killed in the process, but there is an adage in this part of the world that Arab problems are dealt with by Arabs, and I think this is what we saw the beginning on with Jordan's strikes against ISIS, and then, of course, just recently the strikes by the Egyptian government in Darna.
All right, Dr. Grisham, thank you very much.